Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Butt Fumble Sports Daily Show on this Monday. I hope your weekend was amazing. I hope your work week is off to a fantastic start. And if it didn't get off to a great start, no worries. We've got some sports in our schedule to make everything better. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, a great slate of MLB on the docket. We're going to do our research, going to give out picks, talk some sports. The NFL has announced the first game of the season, the kickoff of the year. Ravens at Chiefs at Arrowhead. We even have lines and totals, so if you're not excited, check your pulse, because now there's even NFL to bet on. Such a great time in the sports calendar. It's playoffs for some sports. It's getting good in some sports like baseball. And football is just on the horizon. I heard today we are 115 days away from the NFL kicking off. We couldn't be more excited about that. But that said, we've got some work to do in the NBA, NHL, and MLB today. So put your questions in the comment section. If there's a topic you want to rant about, if there's something that you want us to check using our research, make sure you throw it in the comment section. If you're new to Butt Fumble Sports, Butt Fumble Sports is a sports content company created by a sports fan for you sports fans out there. We rant about sports, we do sports betting, we do fantasy sports, we use data analytics, trying to understand what is behind each matchup to give us the best opportunity to cash some picks. With that said, no matter what you want to talk about in the sports world, we are about it. Hit that follow button if you're on TikTok. Hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. So great to have so many familiar faces, so many familiar handles join us every single day. Caleb Fisher, over-under for NBA games. I put this one out earlier today. I'm taking the under in the Celtics-Cavaliers game. I gave out a trend earlier on TikTok, actually. Our one handle that's different from our name, @SportsFumble on X, where the under is 7-0 when the Celtics are on the road with at least a 5.5 point spread, one day of rest for each of their opponents. It's a good trend, actually. I'm going to put it up on the board right away. It's the first pick we'll be giving out. That is Celtics, Cavaliers. I'm going under 209.5. Celtics under 209.5. Really quick, how's the money coming down on the under? It's not, actually. Right now, the total is set at 206. I took it at 209.5. The money is favoring the over. Be aware of that. I am going against the money right now. But I like Celtics and Cavs under 209.5 based on the data that I have looked at earlier today. One thing of note, injury report. It is being talked about that Donovan Mitchell is a game-time decision. Keep your eye on that. That can certainly impact some of the bets you're making today. If you have questions, comments, if there's anything you want us to focus on, get them into the comment section. That's what we're going to focus on for you guys. Todd Anderson, how about Orioles, Cubs, Phillies? I feel like Cubs might be the better on the +1 than the other two. I like all three. To let you know, the Phillies are one of the riskier ones in that, but I like the Cubs a lot. I like the Orioles. I would go Orioles money line, Cubs +1.5, Phillies money line, but you might get all three on the money line. Phillies are getting the money despite being that road favorite. They're kind of in between. It's almost even money split between the Phillies and the Mets, Cubs and Braves. The Cubs are actually the big underdog in this one, so that's one of the reasons I recommend maybe taking Cubs at the +1.5, given that they do have their stud on the mound. And finally, you brought up the Orioles. Orioles have Corbin Burns on the mound. Really like the matchup that he has. So yes, I really am big on the Orioles. In fact, I'm going to put that one up on the big board right now. Orioles on the money line. I really like that. If you're looking for a same game parlay, I also took Adley Rutschman over half a hit, and I put that in a same game parlay with Orioles money line. That got me to even money if you're looking for that kind of play. Brian Lopez is asking about Diamondbacks and Reds. Diamondbacks and Reds is one of the more interesting games that I see on the schedule right now. Part of the reason I say that is it's one of the games where I have the least amount of good data behind it. I think there could be some offense in this one. The weather suggests that it is going to be a hot one in Arizona. High pressure system, a lot of hot humidity in the air, so it actually has a decent chance. I know they're playing, in that stadium that has the retractable roof, but I'm expecting a little bit of offense in that game. That said, I really didn't like a side on this one. There wasn't one area of this game in doing the research that actually got me really excited, so I'm kind of on the fence. Let's dive into some of the trends on this, though, really quick. Just doing our research on it, looking at the team, the Reds on the road. First game of a series. How have they performed so far this year? 4-2 straight up, 5-1 on the run line. So a good sign there. They're an underdog today, so that's certainly a good sign. How about when they're an underdog in the first game of a series, regardless of location? So far this year, it's happened 5 times. They're 2-3, so kind of split there. Let's flip it around. Diamondbacks, first game of a series when they're at home. Let's check that. Diamondbacks so far this year, just 1-5 straight up, 1-5 on the run line. When their first game of a series at home, when they were a favorite, first game of a series so far this year, 2-4. I guess just based on the early returns, might consider Reds to cover. Reds plus 1.5 is probably what I would say for that game, just based on what I'm seeing really quick. Let's go into Jordan Montgomery really fast. I'm kind of curious to know how he's performed or how the team has performed in his starts so far this year. When Jordan Montgomery's been on the mound, team's 2-2, run line 2-2, the under is 1-3. Flipping it over, looking at Graham Ashcraft of the Cincinnati Reds. How have the Reds performed in his game so far this year? 3-4, 4-3 on the run line, 5-2 towards the over. They've lost the last 3 with him on the mound. I still say take Reds plus 1.5, but it's a tougher one for me to like. Todd Anderson, I need a lock parlay. Orioles, Cubs, and Brewers, $500. Look, I never say anything's a lock, Todd. You'll know that if you're a regular viewer. I understand that you're looking for like my favorite bet of the day. I'll give you some of my favorites, but please, please, please never hear anything of any of these picks as locks. There is no such thing as a lock in sports, and whenever you get that idea or that notion, it's really dangerous. And so I know you're probably like, whatever, Butt Fumble Sports, I don't care. I'm just in it for locks. Well, it's a really bad way of approaching it, so I just warn you on that. Okay, so a couple of picks I like. I've already put Orioles on the money line up there. I am also going to take the Tigers on the money line. Tigers are playing the Miami Marlins today. The Marlins are awful. Really quick, let me just show you how awful the Marlins are. First game of a series on the road so far this year. The Marlins are 0-6 straight up. They're 0-6 on the run line. That just gives you a quick indication of just how bad they are. That's the first game of a series on the road. How about the first game of a series regardless of location? They're 1-12 straight up. 1-12 on the run line. The only win that they had did come with the pitcher that they're starting today, Sixto Sanchez. That said, Tigers are a much better team than the Rockies that they got that win against. So I like the Tigers on the money line as much because the team they're playing against. So Orioles money line is one pick I like. Tigers money line is another one that I really like. I'd also consider taking the Nationals. Nationals are playing the White Sox. How have the White Sox been? First game of a series, 2-11 straight up, 4-9 on the run line. They've been really bad. How about at home? First game of a series at home, White Sox are 2-5. How about first game of a series after a loss? The White Sox are 1-6 straight up, 1-6 on the run line. Let's flip it over. How have the Nationals been? First game of a series. Coming off a loss, they're actually 4-3. The big one I actually wanted to call out when it came to the Nationals, Trevor Williams is on the mound for the Nationals. He has been an absolute stud for sports bettors so far this season. Knock on wood to hope hope it repeats itself. Trevor Williams has made 7 starts so far this season. The Nationals have gone 6-1 in those starts straight up, 7-0 on the run line. So remember, White Sox, god-awful first game of a series. They're going up against a pitcher who's 7-0 on the run line. I will take Nationals on the money line. So, I know it sounds like a crazy parlay or a crazy collection of teams to be riding with, especially if we kind of go back in the time machine a couple of years ago, but 3 MLB teams that I like for tonight are Orioles on the money line, Tigers on the money line, and Nationals on the money line. 3 teams that we may think is a bad team based on brand, but actually have been performing pretty well from a betting standpoint. I actually wanted to touch on that really, really quick. I was doing my research. I was looking at killersports.com earlier today, and I wanted to let you guys know the number one team when it comes to the money made on the money made if you bet on them on the run line. That's if every game you bet this team to cover the run line no matter what. The Nationals are the best team right now in baseball in terms of money made by betting on them on the run line consistently. If you bet $100 every game on the run line, the Nationals would actually give you the best return right now. The Orioles would be second. So two of the teams that have actually performed better all season long on the run line are two of the teams that I like, at least on the money line tonight. Orioles money line, Tigers money line, Nationals money line. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys love the show, love the content. If you do, make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're with us every time you go live. JP over on YouTube, can you pull up public betting on the total of Rangers and Hurricanes? No problem. Getting a request for us to use Outlier. Outlier is the sports betting research app that we use every single day to get a sense of what the best bets are. Right now, he's asking about Hurricanes, Rangers, the hockey game tonight. Which will it go over 5.5 goals? Right now, 92% of the tickets bet on this game are on the over. 91% of the money is on the over as well. So the over certainly getting a lot of love. Let's quickly look at that trend, or look at the data behind the trend and see if there's something to be had. Let's go to team. Let's go Rangers. Rangers coming off a loss. They're at home. Let's just look at it from that perspective. They're 12-4 straight up. The over-under has actually been leaning towards the under, 9-6-1 towards the under. The under's also hit in 3 of the last 4 games, 4 of the last 6 games. Now, I'm kind of curious, when the Rangers are coming off a loss and the total is lower than 6 goals as it is today, the over is 4-1. This is actually an interesting trend for me. When the Rangers are coming off a loss in the previous game and their total for the upcoming game is less than 6 as it is tonight, the over is 4-1. How about when the Hurricanes are coming off a win and the total is less than 6 goals? The over-under's 5-5. The straight-up is 5-5. Nothing we can take from there. Okay, Rangers, let's say, coming off a loss as a favorite. Under's been slightly better, but certainly in terms of covering. By the way, are the Rangers not a favorite tonight? The Rangers are technically not a favorite. The Rangers are dogs tonight. Even at home, that seems crazy to me. How about just after a loss on 1 day of rest? Rangers are 9-5 straight up after a loss on 1 day of rest. The under is 9-5 as well. However, there was a good stretch of overplays between March and April. The under's hit in the last 2 circumstances where this is the case. Let's flip it over. Hurricanes, after a win on just 1 day of rest, kind of a very playoff-heavy stat. 17-13 straight up, 11-19, or 19-11 towards the under. So right now, what I would say is the over is a slightly better play in my estimation, just barely, but it's very, very close. Very, very close. I think you take it at the over 5.5 because I think you're going to get 6 goals. And what I actually like the most about this play, JP, is if the Hurricanes are trailing, they're gonna pull their goaltender, given they're in a desperate situation to keep the series going. So that's the one thing about the over I might like, is if this is a 3-2 game, if this is a 3-1 game even, you could see a goaltender pulled, not just for 1 goal, but potentially 2, because there's such desperation on the side of the team that's trailing in the series. 10 Speed is asking about Cubs' first 5. I'm going to jump on over to ballparkpal.com and look at that over there. The answer is yes. We really like Cubs' first 5. Yep, 10 Speed, Cubs' first 5. Alan, I do like Cubs as well. Schmunk, I actually think Rangers win as well. I totally agree with you. I think the Rangers are going to win. Book Bullies, public heavy on Braves also. Really quick, jumping on over to that Braves game. The money is absolutely coming down on the Braves. 89% of the tickets are on the Braves. 84% of the money are on the Braves to win. As for the spread, 69% tickets, 68% money on the Braves. But really quick, I want to show you guys why I'm excited about the Cubs. A couple of things involving the Cubs that have me excited. First of all, team Cubs, first game of a series. First game of a series for the Cubs. They've gone 8-5 straight up. They've gone 10-3 on the run line, which is what we care about with the Cubs, plus 1.5. That's something I'm really happy about. How about the Braves? First game of a series. Braves, first game of a series. 10-3 straight up, 9-4 on the run line. The under's been a very good play, by the way, of late when the Cubs are first game of a series. The under's been a decent play as well for the Cubs. Keep your eye on the under in that game. Right now, the total is set at 8. If you took it at 8.5, I think that'd be a really smart play. What I actually really like about this one is the starting pitcher for the Cubs, Shota Imanaga, who will be on the bump. He has been an ace of aces so far this season for the Chicago Cubs. You could argue he's been the best offseason signing of any player in all of baseball, outside of Ohtani, I'm sure, but statistically, Imanaga has been fantastic. The Cubs are 7-0 in his 7 starts this year. They're 5-2 on the run line. The under has gone 4-2-1. So again, the under might be a strong play for you, maybe under 8.5, under 9, but I would certainly take the Cubs plus 1.5, just given how well he's pitched so far this year. I know he's 5-2 on the run line, but the Cubs are 7-0 when he pitches. When they've pitched with him as a dog so far this year, hasn't happened. Tonight will be the first time. How about on the road so far this year? They're 3-0. The unbelievable right now, when he started on the road, the Cubs have only allowed 2 runs in 3 starts. So he has just been an absolute ace for them. Really quick, I will show you Ronaldo Lopez on the other side of things, because I just don't want to make it the Imanaga show. I want you to see the other side. Ronaldo Lopez. Braves are 4-2 straight up when he pitches, but only 2-4 on the run line. So again, Braves money line I could see happening. That's why I like Cubs plus 1.5 more. The under has been phenomenal. When Reynaldo Lopez has pitched, the under is 5-1. When Shota Imanaga has pitched so far this season, the under is 4-2-1. So I really like the under in this game. I'll definitely say that. Looking at how the total's coming in, the money's coming in towards the over. I would take the under. This opened at 8, went down to 7.5, came back up to 8. Really quick, if I just look over at the weather for this one. Weather's not great. Expecting there's to be some rain. There's a chance that this game could actually be delayed. I'm going to put this one up on the board as well. I'm going to take Cubs. First of all, I'll take Cubs plus 1.5. I'm putting that up there. I'm also taking Cubs and Braves, and I'm taking under 9. I took that a little bit earlier in the day. Under 9 right now is available at minus 180. So that's what I'm playing for this Cubs and Braves game. Cubs plus 1.5, Cubs Braves under 9. John Ortiz is asking about Seattle money line. I liked Seattle on the money line. I looked at this one a little bit earlier in the day. I'll show you what the money's coming down for this one. Royals, Mariners is the game. Right now, 82% of the tickets are on the Mariners to win. 86% of the money is on the Mariners to win. Even better if you like the Mariners. 44% of the tickets are on the Mariners to cover a 1.5 run spread as a favorite. 54% of the money is on the Mariners to cover the run line. So the money favors the Mariners. And not surprising, Mariners actually have a pretty good matchup. Let's see how the Mariners have done first game of a series so far this year. They're 8-5 overall, 8-5 on the run line. How about when they're facing a non-divisional opponent? So far this year, they're 6-4 straight up, 6-4 on the run line. Under's gone 6-4 as well. How about at home, first game of a series? Mariners at home, first game of a series, are 6-1 straight up. 6-1 straight up. Their only loss came on March 28th. That was actually opening day. Luis Castillo against Brian Bayo. After that, the Mariners have gone 6-0. First game of a series. Certainly love to see that. How about the Royals? Royals in the first game of a series so far this year. 8-5 straight up, 8-5 on the run line. How about when that first game has been on the road? D. Turner, thanks so much for the Galaxy, buddy. Really appreciate you. Royals are 3-3 straight up in the first game of a series, 4-2 on the run line. This game features Brady Singer and George Kirby. Really quick, I'll show you George Kirby's stats, or I'll bring them up for you. Thanks, D. Turner. It's a party in here now that we get some confetti flying. George Kirby, the Mariners are just 3-5 in his starts, but actually when he's been at home, much better, 3-1 when he pitches at home. D. Turner showing us a lot of love. I'm getting chill bumps right now, D. Turner. Thanks so much for being awesome. Really appreciate you supporting the show. We never charge for our picks. Our picks are free. We're grateful for those that contribute to the show, that make everything possible. But we give away our picks for free every single day, regardless of the sport, regardless of the type of bet. They're always for free. All you got to do is DM me on Instagram, ButtFumbleSports on Instagram. So we're just looking at this Royals and Mariners matchup. I will put this one up on the board as well. I like Mariners on the money line. Mariners on the money line. Jorge, I do like Adley Rutschman over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I mentioned this one to you guys earlier in the show that I really liked Adley Rutschman over half a hit in a same-game parlay scenario. But I also like Adley Rutschman for over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Let me explain that one to you because I want to make sure you're aware of what goes into my thinking for some of these player prop bets. So I like to look at two factors. How do they do against this pitcher? How do they do in righty-lefty splits? In 16 at-bats, lifetime against Jose Barrios, Adley Rutschman, 16 at-bats, mind you, has a 6.25 average. That is like collar around the neck, on the leash ownership. Adley Rutschman, 16 at-bats, a 6.25 average. That includes a home run and 2 RBIs. The reason I took the hit is because he didn't have more RBIs. Given the amount of hits that he has against Barrios, you would have thought he would have had more RBIs. I still think, Jorge, you're okay with the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, but be mindful that you'd like that number to be above 2. That said, not only is Adley Rutschman, he hasn't hit well against righties as much, but I'm really leaning into the Jose Barrios side of things. He has been on a nice hit streak, by the way, over his last 10 games. That is contributing to it as well. He has a hit in 8 of his last 10 games. If I look at this specifically in home games, he has a hit in 8 of his last home games as well. Against a right-handed starter, 7 of his last 10 games, he has a hit. So there's some data there for you. Peter, Baltimore versus Blue Jays, thoughts? Blue Jays plus 1.5. I'm taking Orioles on the money line, so on this one, I'm not into the Blue Jays side of things. Just not seeing it. Mully, Guardians on the money line. Okay, I'm actually avoiding this game. This is actually the toughest game for me to kind of bet on, Mully, and it's because the trends are kind of split. Rangers are coming off an awful series. You could argue this is the low point for the Rangers over the last 18 months of baseball, being swept on the road by the Colorado Rockies, one of the worst teams in baseball. That said, the Guardians have been phenomenal this year in the first game of a series. Their pitcher also, Tanner Bibee. Is it Bibby? Is it Bibee? Whatever it is. He has been phenomenal as well. I'll actually show you his stats. Tanner Bibee. Is it Bibee? He is, the Guardians are 7-1 in his start so far this year. That's part of the reason that I'm like, ooh, very cautious. On the other side of things, Michael Lorenzen, the starting pitcher for the Rangers this evening. The Rangers are just 2-3 in his starts. They've lost the last 3. However, Rangers, first game of a series, coming off a loss. Rangers are 4-1 so far this year. There's just reasons on both sides for me to kind of like this game, but like both sides of it. Guardians, first game of a series on the road, just 3-4, but first game of a series overall, 7-6, 8-5 on the run line. Really, to me, it's the starting pitcher they're throwing out there that's making the biggest factor. So I'm avoiding that Guardians and Rangers game, just not one that I'm really excited about. Nino Pena, I do like Brewers on the money line, Nino. And Padres -1.5, not terrible. I do like Padres on the money line. I'll put that one up here. I don't know if I would be bold enough to go with them covering the run line. But Nino, I don't dislike the idea about it. So well done. Chase Green, what's good? Hope you're doing well. Dante, I do like Cubs in the first 5, Dante. Great call. Chase Green, you're asking about the Dallas Stars. Let's jump back over to our hockey research. We're using Outlier. If any of you guys want a free 7-day trial for Outlier, DM me on Instagram, ButtFumbleSports. Right now, the money's coming down on the Dallas Stars. 69% of the tickets are on the Avalanche, but 50% of the money is actually on the Stars to win. Very interesting there. However, when it comes to the goal line, 76% of the tickets are on the Stars. 43% of the money is on the Avalanche. So kind of a discrepancy there. Let's do a little bit of research behind this one. I am going to go over to our NHL side of things for killersports.com. And let's just look at the team. The Stars coming off a loss. They're coming off a win, forgive me. So Stars coming off a win, and they're on the road. They're 17-11 so far this year. They've been freaking phenomenal since mid-February. Since February 15th, they played 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 games on the road after a win. They've gone 10-12 in that time. The under's also been a very good play as well. Really quick, when rest has been 1 day, they're 10-5 straight up. The over-under favors the under 9, 5-1. Let's just make it when they're facing a team with a winning record, which is obviously what we care about because that's who they're playing tonight. Oops. They are 6-3. Okay, here's some trends for you. So when the Dallas Stars are coming off a win, they're playing on the road on 1 day of rest against a team with a winning record. They're 6-3 straight up. They're actually 6-3 on the goal line as well, or on the spread. And the under has gone 6-2-1. So that's definitely something that stands out to me. How about the Avalanche? Avalanche, when they're coming off a loss, 1 day of rest, same scenario, and facing a team with a winning record, they are 3-2. Over-under has gone 3-2 towards the over. Personally, if I had to go in any direction on this, I would take the Stars plus 1.5. I'm not going to bet this game, but Stars plus 1.5 would have my money if I were to play it. By the way, breaking news. Jared Goff, 4-year deal for $170 million guaranteed. Breaking news here at Butt Fumble Sports coming from the NFL. Jared Goff has just signed an extension with the Detroit Lions. 4 years, $170 million guaranteed. He is the latest big name, if we call Jared Goff a big name quarterback, to get the massive contract treatment in the NFL. Ridiculous era that we're living in. But there you go. Jared Goff went from bust in Los Angeles to paid made man in Detroit. $170 million guaranteed. 4-year deal. What do you think of it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let's give a quick poll, actually. I'm kind of curious what people think. Quick poll. Smiley face, like it. Crying face, don't like it. Smiley face, you like Jared Goff, 4-year extension, $170 million guaranteed. Crying face, crazy contract, too much money for Goff. Let us know what you think. Smiley face, you like the contract. Crying face, you don't like the contract. Really quick, someone's asking about Jared Goff's age. Jared Goff is 29 years old. Jared Goff yet to hit 30. Smiley face, you like Jared Goff signing the extension, 4 years, $70 million. I guess we're asking if you like it for the Lions. Crying face if you don't like it. We'll get back to our research in just a moment, but the news just came in. Jared Goff signs a 4-year, $170 million guaranteed deal extension with the Lions. Smiley face if you like it. Crying face if you don't. A Rams fan says he deserves it. Certainly resurrected his career. This poll's coming to a close. Feels like you guys are really actually very happy for Jared Goff, and you agree with the contract. Bravo then, Jared Goff. Not only did you get the money, but you got the public support behind it. Well done for him. Anyways, let's get back to our sports betting research. By the way, we are going to talk some NFL throughout the next few weeks because, guys, on Wednesday, the schedule officially comes out. Wednesday night, the NFL schedule, every game for every week involving every matchup will be announced and will be published. We are going to broadcast the next few days following that, around that. So we will be looking at future bets. We will be, for some shows, literally going game by game for certain teams. We're going to get in heavy into NFL content because I know it's only May 15th or 13th rather, but we are 115 days away from the NFL season. Jorge, I do like Whit Merrifield. Good call on Whit Merrifield. Bry Guy, do I like the Phillies on the money line? I do, but it is one of the games that I think is probably closer to a coin flip tonight. So I do have Phillies on the money line. I do, but I'm not going to put it on my big board. I did bet it, but I'm not putting it up on my big board. We're getting some questions about some pitchers, about some pitcher player prop bets. So because they're both around strikeouts, we're actually going to focus on those really quick. The first one is going to be Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks strikeout. We're being asked about over under 3.5. It's open at 3.5, went up to 4, came back down to 3.5. Head to head against the Dodgers. Some low strikeout numbers. Low, not a big sample size, but he doesn't have a ton of strikeouts against this group. The only person he's really dominated in that area, Will Smith. He has also dominated Chris Taylor as well. 3.5 strikeouts is the hope for him. We don't have a lot of data we can really rely on. Home starts, he does have this in 2 of his last 4 home starts. Overall, it's not a game. It's just not something I'm going to bet. I just don't have any interest in this. There's just really no data behind it that I can really sink my teeth into. So the Dodgers aren't a great strikeout team. I could go either way, John. Sorry I don't have a better insight on this, but there's just really nothing behind it that gets me going. How about Zach Eflin? Someone was asking me just a moment ago about Zach Eflin. Under 5.5 is the question. Devers has, by the way, great numbers against him. I do have Devers, Rafael Devers, over half a hit. I'll put that one up on the board. Rafael Devers, over half a hit. So that did make my big board. As for strikeouts, this has been consistently hitting the under, very consistently actually. But head-to-head against the Red Sox, it actually did hit in one of his last 2 starts against them. That did come last September. In his last 10 games, he's only hit the over twice. Those both did come in road games. He's hit the over 3 times. Frankly, I wish Myron, I wish you could have gotten this with him at home. It's a better play. I would probably take the under 5.5. I would, but again, not going to make my big board. Just not something I'm excited about enough, but I would take the under. Do you like Diamondbacks on the money line? No, I actually, if I had to go in any direction, I'd probably take Reds plus 1.5, though I'm actually not going to bet that game. Kevin's got a player prop bet question for us from the NBA, and it's PJ Washington. While I pull it up, I also have some rumor news about the NBA, and actually it's a sports media thing as we pull up points for PJ Washington. The rumor is the NBA has actually already agreed in principle. They haven't dotted the I's and crossed the T's just yet, but they have actually agreed in principle with NBC to give them the broadcasting rights. They're apparently, according to Bill Simmons, according to Bill Simmons, NBA, NBC already have an agreement, and that means inside the NBA on TNT is done after I believe this year. It might be the last time we get maybe the best sports media content ever created. So if you love inside the NBA, get as much of it as you can over the next few weeks because there are rumors that the NBA is going back to NBC, and that means Turner is going to get shut out and will no longer be the home for the NBA. Big news there. Kevin, you were asking about PJ Washington, 15.5 points. You're asking specifically about the over. This opened at 14.5, went down to 13.5, and has since climbed to 15.5. Kind of interested by that line movement. Now, PJ Washington, power forward. The matchup's okay. OKC is the 12th best defense in the league against power forwards. He has gone over this point total in back-to-back games against OKC. Prior to that, hadn't been a consistent trend. But again, I don't know if it necessarily matters. I care about the last 10 home games. He's only gone over this total once in his last 10 home games. This opened at 13.5, and there's a reason for it. That's the better spot to take this. 13.5 is the right spot. So, Kevin, if you want to take the 15.5 and risk it, I get it, but I wouldn't. I'd buy it down to 13.5. Even there, I'm not crazy about it. Again, not a bet I would make, but 13.5 would be the spot, not 15.5. How do you like Lively over 6.5 strikeouts? Over 6.5 points. Thinking Ben Lively, the pitcher, and I'm like, but he's in the bullpen now. Let's go Lively on points. 6.5. This has actually been a decent trend, especially at home. This has hit in 6 of his last 7 home games. I actually love seeing that. On the injury report, let's say when Maxi Kleber went down, it's been a pretty good trend. When Maxi Kleber hasn't been on the floor, which is obviously the case for the rest of the season, Lively has gone over 6.5 points in 7 of those 10 games. Kind of an interesting stat there. At home, he's gone over this total, like I mentioned, 6 of his last 7 games. Head-to-head against OKC, back-to-back games at home. Prior to that, hadn't been a very good trend, but I actually like it. Rizan, I like that over 6.5 for Lively. Don't know how to pronounce your handle, but appreciate the comment and question. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are loving the content, loving the conversation. If you are, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you're joining us every day. That way you never miss a time when we go live. And again, for those that are new to the show, I will never, ever, ever charge you for one of my picks. My picks are free every day. I love doing sports content. I love researching sports betting, fantasy sports, and just ranting about sports. So I would do this no matter what. And because of that, I don't charge for any of my picks. I know there are people on social media who put their picks behind a paywall, who charge for them. You have to subscribe to them. That's up to you if you want to do that. I think those guys are assholes. I think it's ridiculous that they do. I do this research for free. I give away my picks for free. All I ask of you is DM me on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports is the name of my company and my handle on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports. When you DM me on Instagram, I'll send you a link and a referral code. That way you can see every bet I make. They're up on the SHARPZ app. SHARPZ is like a bulletin board for sports bettors. Every bet that I make every day automatically goes up there. I can't hide them. I can't delete them. They're never behind a paywall. They're always transparent. They're always available to you. So no matter the day, the type of bet, you can always find my bets every day on the SHARPZ app. DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports. I'll give you access to every bet that I make every day because I don't want to charge for my picks. We're on team cashing tickets together. I want you guys to make money, and more importantly, I want you keeping your money. I love when you guys contribute to the show. Obviously, I'm grateful for it, but I will never charge for my picks. That's a Butt Fumble Sports promise. Jorge, I do like Brandon Nimmo over half a hit. Hit run RBI, a little bit dicier for me, but I am still considering it. How do you feel about Blue Jays money line? I don't like Blue Jays on the money line. I'm going Orioles. User, if I had to lean in a direction, I'd probably take Rangers. I'd certainly take Rangers plus 1 goal, and I would also take the Stars plus 1.5. That's where I'm coming down. Ryan, Houck, Lopez. Tanner Houck's not pitching, is he? I thought it was Cutter Crawford pitching today. Now you got me curious. Yeah, he's not pitching today. Tanner Houck's not pitching. Reynaldo Lopez, you were asking about him. Looking at strikeouts for Lopez. Over under 5.5. He has gone over this total in 4 of his last 5 games. The only time he missed it was against the Red Sox, and he got 5 at home. 2 of his last 3 starts he's hit this. Can you buy it down to 4.5? You can. Over 4.5 is minus 175 on ESPN Bet, minus 200 on FanDuel. If you're on those sports books, that's a great spot to take it. 5.5, I kind of like this one. Really quick, let's look at the Cubs. Against him, though, Cubs have actually pretty good numbers. Only Suzuki and Wisdom have bad strikeout numbers. Other than that, pretty good. Cubs are actually not a bad strikeout team overall. So I lean towards the over, but if you could take it at 5 or over 4.5, Ryan, that is certainly the better spot, though it may not be available to you. Someone's asking about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander on rebounds and assists. Let's jump over to the NBA, everybody, and let's check out Shea Gilgeous-Alexander on rebounds and assists. It's set at 13.5 where I'm seeing it. Implied probability is pretty good. This opened at 12.5, shot up to 14.5, came down to 13.5. As for the matchup, really strong actually. Dallas, 29th in rebounds allowed to shooting guards, 25th in assists allowed to shooting guards. He's hit this in 3 straight games. He's hit this in 4 of his last 5 games against Dallas. Great sign there. How about on the road? Not as good against Dallas. Last 10 games on the road, not as good. If I could, I'd buy it down to 12.5, but I actually think this is a good play. Again, Jorge, I'd buy it down to 12.5 if you could, but if you took it at 13.5, I wouldn't hate on you. Oklahoma City on the money line is an interesting one. I'm on the fence on this. Personally, I kind of like it. The money's coming down on OKC money line and OKC to cover the spread. Really quick, let's jump on over to our NBA killersports.com tab, and let's take a look at Oklahoma City Thunder coming off a loss. In fact, coming off back-to-back losses. How have they performed so far this year? Just coming off back-to-back losses. Only happened 8 times. They're 7-1 straight up. By the way, the one loss that they had came against the Pacers. Kind of interesting there, actually. The Pacers were the one team to get them. That said, the over has also gone 5-1-2. So Ty the guy and Natty, Thunder money line is looking like a very good play. As for the over is looking good as well. Really quick, how about the Mavericks coming off back-to-back wins? Just coming off back-to-back wins. Nothing else that we care about. Coming off back-to-back wins, Dallas is 20-12. How about when they're coming off back-to-back wins and they're at home? So far this year, when that's been the case, they've gone 10-6 straight up. The under has gone 11-5. Actually, kind of interesting here. Mavericks have lost and failed to cover their last 2 games under this scenario. I'm just going to keep looking at some trends around this game. The line, when the Mavericks have a line, let's say less than -2, because that's what it is for tonight. And let's say, and they're a favorite. So a line of less than -2, but they're still a favorite. They're 8-3 straight up, 8-3 against the spread. The under is 9-2. So my love for the over-under has certainly waned as we've looked at that data. I still like the over a little bit at the at the 215.5, but personally, I do like the Thunder. I like the Thunder on the money line. I do think the Thunder bounce back, get the win, tie the series up. I'm not going to put it on the big board, but if I had to go with any bet right now, I would take Thunder on the money line. I'll also say this. I'm not going to shock you guys. I'm taking Celtics on the money line. I think Celtics are going to win tonight. I understand their Game 2 start was, everything a Celtics fan hates about this team, but at the same time, they actually perform much better on the road. They're coming off the win. I think Celtics get the win tonight in a lower scoring game. I already called out Celtics and Cavaliers under 209.5. I'd probably take the Thunder on the money line as well, but I will not bet that one. At least I won't put it on the big board. I might bet that game a little bit later in the evening. Right now, the Thunder are plus 105 on the money line. I'd really like to see them get to like plus 120. Might be the spot I take them. That actually might be something I actually do in-game. If the Mavericks were somehow able to get out to an early start, I might take the Thunder to win once that game gets going. Do you like Cavs on the spread? So I did probably 10 hours ago. I'm not as crazy about it right now because Donovan Mitchell being questionable for tonight's game with calf strain or calf soreness or whatever it is, that has me a little bit worried, Mike. So I like the Cavaliers. I actually would have taken them at like a plus 10.5, plus 11.5 10 hours ago. But because of Donovan Mitchell's status, has me a little bit concerned. The Cavaliers do not have enough offensive weapons where if Donovan Mitchell isn't at least 80-85% that they can possibly keep track with the Celtics. Keep in mind, the Celtics in this series, it's all about whether they make three-pointers. In the playoffs in general, in this season in general, it's all about whether the Celtics make three-pointers. And really, outside again of Donovan Mitchell, there aren't too many guys on the Cavs who can kind of hold back the tide of an avalanche of points from the Celtics. So if Donovan Mitchell isn't playing for a majority of this game, I feel like it could get away from the Cavaliers. I'm not going to touch it. It has my attention, but I'm not going to touch it at least for now. Do I have any home run plays? Really quick. Do I have any home run plays? Based on the weather, the best stadium for a home run tonight could actually be Nationals and White Sox in Chicago. I'm not expecting tonight to be a great home run night. The weather is not really favoring the ball to carry tonight in most of these games. That again is according to ballparkpal.com, which runs thousands of simulations around every baseball game. That's where we get our data for baseball, or a lot of our data for baseball. So I'm not as crazy about home runs tonight in general. I'll pull up, I'll look it up right now though. Who do we like for a home run? Player props. Okay. I could see Corey Seager hitting a home run. I could see Dalton Varsho hitting a home run. I could see Gunnar Henderson hitting a home run. Those are three guys that stand out. Corey Seager, Dalton Varsho, Gunnar Henderson. Those are three guys. I'd probably take all of them to get over half a hit. Put that in a parlay. Certainly has my attention. Those three are three of my favorite hitters for tonight. JP, Rangers over 2.5 goals. Solid trend of late. I think so, JP. Good play. Kyle Klein, Phillies Brewers plus 220. I like it. I bet that one, Kyle. I know the Phillies game is probably a coin flip, but I actually did bet it earlier today. I put out a trend earlier today. I put it out on my social media on Twitter. So hopefully you guys are following Sports Fumble on Twitter. But it was on Mondays. You guys are going to love this. On Mondays, a favorite against a divisional opponent with a total, when the total is less than 9 runs, the favorite is undefeated. 9-1? No, it should be even better than that. 9-1 division. No, it should be better than that. This says 9-1. It should be even better. Anyways, very good trend. There are a lot of games that match that circumstance tonight. I thought that one was out, though. What did I... Yeah, less than 9. Anyways, we like our favorites tonight, especially in divisional matchups. I'll put it that way. What do you think about the Dodgers on the money line? For just that reason, I like Dodgers on the money line. I'm actually going to put that one up on the big board as well. I'm taking Dodgers on the money line. How's the money coming down on that game? Giants and Dodgers. 90% of the tickets are on the Dodgers. 96% of the money is on the Dodgers. Justin, I do like the Brewers tonight. B, Chisholm from the Marlins over half a hit is a lock. You know how I feel about that word, B. I'm not a fan of the word lock, but let's take a look at Jazz Chisholm. Is he a lock? By the way, what can we call a lock in this world? You know? What can we claim as a lock? Chaz Chisholm, let's go over half a hit. Does have a good implied probability. Has been hot of late. 8 hits in his last 10 games. Has a hit in 8 of his last 10 games. At home against a right-handed starter. Against a right-handed starter regardless of location. He's got a hit in 5 of his last 6 games. Specifically on the road, he has a hit in 7 of his last 10. 3 of his last 4. Head-to-head against Matt Manning. He's actually never faced Matt Manning. His righty-lefty splits against right-handed pitching. He has a 263 average. B is saying it's a lock. I won't say it's a lock. I'll say it's a good bet, but I won't say it's a lock. That's for sure. Let me give you guys another pick that I like for tonight. Want to give you guys another one of my favorite bets. I'm going to give out a player prop bet. I'm going to take Bryce Turang over half a hit. And for those that like Brewers on the money line, you could take Bryce Turang and put him in a same game parlay with the Brewers. Chase, I do like the Phillies. Rhys Hoskins, yep. Jorge, I like it. Chase, I'm going Phillies. Mark, I like Stars plus 1.5, but not a bad play. Hope you guys are loving the content, loving the conversation. Make sure that you guys are DMing me on Instagram. That way you never miss any of our picks. If you want every bet that I make for free, all you have to do is DM me on Instagram. I never charge for my picks. They're never behind a paywall. They're always accessible to you guys for free. All you got to do is DM me on Instagram. That's Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. You get every bet I make every day. Jorge's asking about Jaylen Brown, points and assists. Let's go look at it, everybody. We're looking at Jaylen Brown, one of the 2 stars of the Boston Celtics. You could argue they have even more, but we're looking at points. You want points and assists. Set at 27.5. The under has actually the better implied probability, and for good reason. This has only hit 3 times in his last 10 games. Head-to-head against the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's hit just 2 times in his last 5 games, specifically in Cleveland. It has been a better trend. Jorge might be onto something here. It has been a better trend when they've played in Cleveland. In Cleveland, he's gone over 27.5 points and assists in 3 of his last 4 games. Let's take a look at how he's done without Porzingis in this scenario. Obviously, no Porzingis tonight. He has gone over this total in 5 of his last 7 games without Porzingis. He's hit it in 3 straight games in Cleveland without Porzingis. Jorge might be onto something here. This is a good matchup on points and on assists for him. In his last 10 games overall without Porzingis, he's hit it in 7 of his last 10 road games without Porzingis, 13 of his last 20 games without Porzingis. Jorge, bravo, frickin' love it. Jaylen Brown over 27.5 points and assists. I'd buy it down. I'd buy it to 25.5, maybe 24.5. I'll even put that one up on the big board. Didn't expect to do it, but Jaylen Brown over 24.5 points plus assists. If you can get it, take it. Good plays all the way around. Great find. 24.5, 25.5. Love what you found there, Jorge. That makes the big board. Bought it down to 25.5. Great call. And guys, you'll often hear me refer to an alternative line. That's because the sports books, they're our enemy. They're our rival. They're trying to set a trap that we fall into. I will do whatever I can to just get a little bit of edge on them. So I'll buy alternative lines. If you guys aren't about it, I totally get it. But any way that I can just get a little bit of an edge or an advantage on the sports books that are clearly trying to take advantage of me, I will do it. That's why I buy alternative lines. That was Jaylen Brown over 24.5 or 25.5 points and assists. Craig, Luka Doncic under 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Not a bad idea. Let's take a look at it. We're looking at points, rebounds, and assists for Luka Doncic. Set at 47.5. The over does have a slight advantage on the implied probability. This opened at 47.5, went up to 48.5. The matchup favors the under a little bit. At home, he has gone over this total in 6 of his last 10 games. Head-to-head against OKC, it's missed in his last 3 games. specifically at home. He had hit this in 4 of his last 5 games against OKC. This is a tricky one for me. Let's look at it when he's played with Kyrie. His last 20 games with Kyrie, 6 of his last 10 again, at least at home. I'm on the fence on this. I could coin flip this either way. Craig, I don't have a good indication on this one. This feels like it's going to be right around this total. It could be off by 1 either way. I wouldn't touch it. Hard indication. Part of that also has to do with how is he feeling physically. Maybe that means you like the under a little bit more because of that physics. But I just don't. I don't have a good vibe on this, a good read on this. So because of that, I'm not going to lean in one way or the other. Dr. Official, Donovan Mitchell is questionable, so I'm not going to bet his points, rebounds, and assists no matter what. Because he's questionable, because he's banged up, a lot of variables that are outside of our knowledge and our ability to collect the data on it, so I just wouldn't touch it overall. Oh, Mac, Celtics just moved to minus 420. That might mean some news on Donovan Mitchell. Sounds like Donovan Mitchell may be out just based on that. Jorge, any no run in the first inning plays? Really quick, let me scan through ballparkpal.com. No run in the first inning plays. Keep your eye on Cubs and Braves. Cubs and Braves. Jorge, Cubs and Braves. No run in the first inning. Keep your eye on Cardinals, Angels. Cardinals, Angels. Keep your eye on Royals, Mariners. Those are actually the only 3 that I would look at. So, again, the no run in the first inning, the 3 that I actually like are Cubs and Braves, Cardinals, Angels, and Royals, Mariners. No run in the first inning if I were to play those. Yeah, Isaac, they just announced it, letting us know. Sounds like he's not playing. TK, I don't know, buddy. I feel like reports matter. I feel like odds moving matters. I feel like someone's telling us something. Let's look at Darius Garland. Someone asking about Darius Garland when the points, or rather on points when Donovan Mitchell doesn't play. So let's just look. Donovan Mitchell, when he doesn't play, Darius Garland's actually not much better on points. He actually has only gone over 15.5 points 4 times in his last 10 games without Donovan Mitchell. Has been better at home, though. Actually has been better at home. He's gone over 15.5 points in 7 of his last 10 games without Mitchell. And if you were to lower that, if you took Darius Garland at over 13.5 points, he's hit that in 10 straight games without Donovan Mitchell. So if Donovan Mitchell is out, Darius Garland over 13.5 points, kind of an interesting play. Now, honestly, he's gone over 13.5 points in 9 straight games against the Celtics. So I like Darius Garland over 13.5 points no matter what. Darius Garland over 13.5 points. That is a play that I'll be making. It makes my big board. Good call, everybody. Good call. Yes, I am an IU guy. You can see I went there undergrad and I went there for business school, graduate school as well. So I've got my undergrad from Ernie Pyle and I've got my MBA from Kelly. So yes, I'm not from Indiana, not a true Hoosier if you take it by where you're born, but I am an adopted Hoosier, that's for sure. Appreciate you guys being with us. If you guys want every bet that I make every single day, DM me. We give away our picks for free. Butt Fumble Sports, DM me on Instagram. I give away my picks every day for free. When did I graduate? I graduated undergrad in 2012. I graduated from the MBA program in 2017. What is your opinion in Rockies Padres? I like the Padres on the money line, and I like the under. I took the under for that game at under 8.5. So I like Rockies Padres under 8.5. I also have Padres on the money line. Quickly, let's recap all the picks we've given out so far during this last hour of the show. We have Celtics Cavaliers under 209.5. Celtics on the money line. I like either one. I like both of those, no matter the status of Donovan Mitchell. I've got Jaylen Brown over 24.5 points and assists. Darius Garland over 13.5 points. I have, for baseball, Orioles on the money line, Tigers on the money line, Nationals on the money line, Cubs plus 1.5, Cubs and Braves under 9 runs, Mariners on the money line, Padres on the money line, and Dodgers on the money line. I'm also taking Adley Rutschman to get a hit. I'd same game parlay that with the Orioles to win. I have Rafi Devers over half a hit, and I have Bryce Terang over half a hit. I'd probably parlay that with Brewers on the money line. Again, if you want every bet that I make every single day for free, they're never behind a paywall. I never charge for them. All you have to do is DM me on Instagram. But Fumble Sports is my handle on Instagram. DM me. I'll send you a link and a referral code that gives you access to my picks every day for free. They're never behind a paywall. I never charge for them. You guys work hard for your money. You should be putting that towards sports bets and towards entertainment, not towards buying somebody's picks. So I give them away for free every single day. DM me on Instagram. That way you can check them all out. I will be back tomorrow for another show, so make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you subscribe. That way you never miss a time when we go live. I love talking sports with you guys. I hope you know it. It is the highlight of my day every day. Love this community, love this audience, and love talking sports with you. Hopefully we do it again tomorrow. Make sure you guys hit me up. Enjoy the sports action this evening. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys on Tuesday. Until then, goodbye, everybody.